The moment you stop dancing for their approval is the moment they lose all power over you. There comes a moment in your life when silence is no longer peace, when pretending that everything is fine starts to feel like a betrayal to your soul, when shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone starts to choke the light within you. That is the moment, the sacred breaking point, when you realize you were never meant to live under the shadow of someone else's toxicity. Toxic people feed off your reaction. Resolution, they're looking for control. Every time you justify your boundaries, every time you soften your truth to keep the peace, you're handing over pieces of your power to someone who has no intention of ever respecting it. We've all known what it feels like to be surrounded by people who make us feel small, unheard, unworthy. Their words cut deeper than knives. Their smiles are laced with venom. Their love comes with conditions, and their support only lasts as long as you are broken. But today, this ends. There is one decision, one powerful act of courage that changes everything. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to beg them to understand. You just need to do this one thing, and toxic people will never be able to touch your peace again. Let me take you on this journey of healing and self-liberation. Choose yourself without apology. In a world that constantly demands your attention, your energy, your time, there comes a moment when you must pause. Pause and ask yourself, am I giving myself the same love, the same space, the same grace I give others? Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is revolutionary. For years, we've been taught to be everything to everyone. We're taught that our worth comes from being needed, from being the shoulder to cry on, the fixer of problems, the listener to every complaint. But what if I told you that your worth does not hinge on being constantly available to others? The world does not know what it's like to hear your inner voice calling you back to yourself. It does not understand the need for self-love in the face of others' demands. But the truth is this: when you keep pouring from an empty cup, you become hollow. And no amount of giving can fill that space for you. When you choose yourself, you are not abandoning others. You are choosing to honor the soul that you were born with. You are choosing to preserve the essence of who you are. And in that choice, you will find that the world around you becomes lighter. People who once demanded your presence, your time, your energy will start to drift. And that's okay, because your energy belongs to you first. It's easy to lose yourself in the service of others. It's easy to forget your own dreams, your own desires in the name of duty. But ask yourself, if you constantly give away pieces of yourself, what is left for you? Choosing yourself is about understanding that you are worthy of love, care, and respect just as much as anyone else. Your voice matters, your thoughts matter, your peace matters. And when you choose yourself, you are no longer bound by the chains of guilt or shame that toxic people try to impose upon you. You are free, free to live without apology, free to stand tall and own your space. Choosing yourself is not about being perfect, it's about being whole. It's about saying, I am worthy of rest, I am worthy of boundaries, I am worthy of peace. When you stop shrinking for others and start standing tall in your own truth, you become untouchable to the negativity that tries to seep in. When you choose yourself, you reclaim your power. You stop relying on external validation to feel worthy. You stop waiting for permission to take up space in this world. You are not here to be invisible. You are here to shine. And once you make that choice, once you commit to yourself, you will never go back. Toxic people will always try to convince you that your choices don't matter, that your needs are secondary to theirs. But you must look at them, at their demands, and say with grace, I choose me. I choose my peace. I choose my soul. And when you do, the toxic forces around you will begin to lose their grip on you. They can no longer manipulate you when you have made a decision that is unwavering. They will no longer be able to drain you when you have decided to protect your energy. The moment you choose yourself, you become a force that no one can break. Remember, the love you give yourself is the foundation of everything else in your life. You will never truly know the depth of your potential until you choose yourself without apology. Because in that moment, you step into a power you never knew existed. And no one can take that from you. Master the art of emotional detachment. In the dance of life, We often find ourselves swept up in the emotions of others. Toxic people know this. They know that your emotional responses are their most powerful weapon, and they will use your emotions against you, pushing you to places of pain, regret, and confusion. But imagine if you could simply step back. Imagine if you could observe without becoming entangled. This is what emotional detachment is. It is not about shutting down your feelings. It is about mastering the art of not letting others' chaos become your own. It is about maintaining your center, no matter how much the storm rages around you. When you detach emotionally, you reclaim your space. You refuse to let someone else's negativity take root in your soul. You learn to listen to the chaos without allowing it to disrupt your inner peace. You learn to see the toxic person for who they are, without letting their actions define your reality. Detachment is the ability to stand in your truth without losing your balance. It's not about shutting people out, but about refusing to be consumed by their emotional energy. When someone projects anger, resentment, or fear onto you, detachment allows you to respond with clarity, not reaction. Toxic people thrive on your emotional responses. They want you to feel guilty, ashamed, angry, or confused. And as long as you are tangled in their emotional web, they have power over you. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you choose not to play their game, their power dissipates. Emotional detachment allows you to step into the present moment with a clear heart and mind. It helps you realize that the words or actions of toxic people are not about you. They are a reflection of them, not of you. And when you begin to see this, the hold they have on your emotions begins to weaken. You do not need to fight every battle that toxic people throw at you. In fact, sometimes the greatest act of strength is to simply not engage. Sometimes your silence, your calm, your peaceful refusal to take the bait is more powerful than any argument. Detachment frees you from the chains of guilt and obligation. It allows you to release the need to explain yourself, to prove your worth, to justify your boundaries. You are not responsible for their emotions. You are only responsible for your own. Mastering emotional detachment is an act of self-preservation. It is the ability to protect your peace and rise above the noise. It does not mean you are cold or indifferent. It means you understand the value of your own emotional energy and choose to guard it fiercely. When you detach, you take the power back. The toxic person may shout. They may try to manipulate you. But you will stand tall, untouched, unshaken. You will no longer be a victim to their emotional games. And in that moment, you will realize they no longer have a hold on you. Build boundaries that speak louder than words. One of the most sacred things you can do for yourself is to build boundaries. These invisible lines are not about pushing others away. They are about creating a safe space for your soul. Boundaries are not walls that trap you inside. They are doors that protect your peace and your emotional well-being. Toxic people hate boundaries. They thrive on chaos and control, on making others feel obligated to meet their needs. But when you establish clear boundaries, you take away their power. You stop playing into their games. And you give yourself permission to be whole again. Your boundaries are not a reflection of how much you love or care for others. They are a reflection of how much you love and care for yourself. A boundary is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your peace, your energy, and your time are precious, and you will not allow anyone to drain them without consequence. You do not need to explain or apologize for your boundaries. The moment you explain, you begin to negotiate your worth. You begin to lessen your value. But your boundaries are not for negotiation. They are non-negotiable. And when you set them with this mindset, you begin to realize how freeing it is to live life on your own terms. Toxic people will try to push against your boundaries. They will test you. They will try to make you feel guilty for saying no, for choosing your peace over their demands. But when you are clear on your boundaries, you stand firm. You no longer feel the need to justify your decision. You no longer feel the need to make excuses for taking care of yourself. Setting boundaries is an act of love. It's about loving yourself enough to say no when necessary, to walk away when it's not good for you, to protect your energy even when it feels uncomfortable. It is not selfish, it is self-care. When you set a boundary, you are not rejecting the person. You are rejecting their toxic behavior. And when you are clear on your boundaries, you will notice something miraculous. The toxic people will start to fade away. Not because you push them away, but because they can no longer manipulate you. You are in control of your life, your energy, and your space. And when you create clear boundaries, you reclaim that control. Toxic people may try to test you, but they will eventually realize you are not a space for their manipulation. You are a space for your own growth, your own peace, your own love. So don't be afraid to build those boundaries. Set them firmly, set them with love, and let them become the foundation upon which you build your life. Step into radical self-worth, expanded. Your worth is not something that can be given or taken away by anyone else. Your worth is innate. It is the foundation of your being. But too often, we seek validation from the outside world. We look for approval in the eyes of others, hoping that their love will confirm that we are good enough. Radical self-worth begins the moment you stop seeking validation from others. It begins when you realize that your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not something that can be earned or lost. It is simply who you are. When you step into your radical self-worth, you no longer settle for anything less than what you deserve. You stop shrinking for others. You stop dimming your light to make someone else feel comfortable. You stop accepting love that comes with strings attached or respect that feels conditional. You realize that you are enough right here, right now. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to work harder to be worthy. You don't need to change who you are to fit someone else's expectations. You are enough just as you are. The moment you step into your radical self-worth, you begin to attract the people who see you, who value you for who you truly are. You stop tolerating toxic relationships. You stop tolerating people who treat you as if you are less than you are, because you know your worth, and that knowledge changes everything. Your worth is unshakable. It is not dependent on your achievements, your appearance, or how others perceive you. It is inherent in your soul. And once you recognize this, you will never allow anyone to take it from you again. When you know your worth, you do not tolerate disrespect. You do not tolerate manipulation. You do not tolerate being treated like an option. Because you understand that you are not an option, you are the choice. The right people will choose you because they see the value in you. Radical self-worth is the courage to stand tall, even when others try to push you down. It is the strength to walk away from people who diminish you. It is the resilience to stay true to yourself. No matter how many times the world tries to tell you that you are not enough, step into your worth. Own it. Because when you do, everything around you will begin to shift. You will no longer be a magnet for toxic behavior. You will become a magnet for respect, love, and peace. Your worth is not negotiable. And once you realize this, you will see just how powerful you truly are. The power to protect your peace and create a life free from toxic people begins with you. It starts with the radical decision to choose yourself, to prioritize your own well-being without apology, to step into your self-worth unapologetically, and to establish boundaries that honor your energy. When you choose to master the art of emotional detachment, you reclaim your inner peace and refuse to be swayed by the drama of others. And when you finally step into the understanding that your worth is inherent, unshakable, and not dependent on external validation, you will find that toxic people no longer hold the power they once had over you. By choosing yourself, detaching from negativity, setting strong boundaries, and stepping into your radical self-worth, you make a bold declaration. I am not available for toxicity. I am not here to be a punching bag for anyone's insecurities. The toxic people in your life will fade away because they will no longer find a fertile ground in which their manipulation and control can grow. You do not need to fight, argue, or convince anyone of your value. You simply need to stand firm in your choices, your boundaries, and your truth. And as you do, you will notice something powerful. The very energy of those toxic people will lose its power over you. You will be free to live, love, and thrive on your terms. You are worthy of a life filled with peace, love, and respect. So stand tall, be unapologetic, and remember, once you choose yourself and protect your energy, toxic people will never bother you again. Your peace will always be your greatest priority, and no one can take that from you unless you let them. You are the author of your own story, and today, you choose to write one of strength, resilience, and unwavering self-love.